All righty, good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Inside Texas with Mitch and Jeff. Mitch is the good-looking guy sitting over to the other side, other than the big blue blob that you see on the other screen over there, which happens to be me.
Or at least you look comfortable.
Yeah, you know what? It's weird because I'm sitting in my recliner right now.
Okay.
And you can see I got the studio here in the back.
Yeah.
Which is... If people want to know, is that a real studio? They'll think Jeff Michaels makes too much money to buy all that equipment. And I'm going to show you something. Okay. I'm going to show you something right now.
Come on.
Listen to people, because somebody said, man, where'd you get all that new equipment? All right. So you want to see what the actual background looks like behind me?
I'm not sure. Oh, there it is.
Recliner and studded walls. Okay.
All right.
Now I can bring you into the house that I want to live in.
Oh, there you go. Now, do you play the piano?
I do. I will play the piano.
All right.
I
like that one.
I don't know how to play any music, but I can play on it.
Oh, or play with it.
Yeah, play with it. And then L and J small engine. See, I can.
Yeah, there you go.
But I always like to have the studio thing in the background.
So. I like it.
And Mitch's background is real. Okay, just to let you know. That his wife, Mitch, had nothing to do with that office. That is his wife's office, just to let you know. In case you ask, she set up his very nice background, very beautiful, very nice. Mitch had nothing to do with it.
She designed every bit of it.
Yeah,
she sure did. She had the vision, and
yeah,
this was an old storeroom. I guess it was originally. I think it was a ham radio room.
Oh, really?
That I guess when they built the house, they built this as a ham radio room.
And Caroline also likes to call it Mitch's doghouse.
Mitch's doghouse. I don't get in here much. So.
That's good. Then you're doing.
Yeah, the doghouse. This is insulated. The doghouse is not insulated.
Not insulated. I know he's been out there many times. I'm sure. Anyway, we got a full show. I want to let people know. By the way, the forecast, Andy's been keeping up with the forecast.
Yeah, he has.
With me. So the severe weather intensity tomorrow has bumped up just a bit. From the latest that I got about 20 minutes ago, there's a slight tornado threat there for folks all the way down along the coast into Louisiana. High winds of 40 miles an hour or more. Also, as this cold front moves down through, it's a cold front coming through, just to let you know. It's weird because you can be standing outside today, which was beautiful outside today, and then tomorrow night all hell's going to break loose, and then from Wednesday through the weekend the highs are only going to be in the 40s. So
I can handle it. Tell me about the hard freeze. Do we have any? Do I need to go to Grenada?
No.
Okay.
The hard freeze has backed off a bit. The temperatures are a little higher. They're running right about 30 degrees for the lows along the coast here. Okay. Inland a little cooler, about 28, 27, but not for a long extended period of time. Okay. From what we saw. Earlier indications said that now the wind chills are going to be a little cold. Yeah. Going to be in the teens for the wind chills, but nothing hard freeze major. So it all depends on if this thing drifts east-west, wherever it goes. But right now, they're defining it more. We're in the marginal area for severe weather. We're not in a slight anymore. We're in marginal. Okay. And it is along the coast, starting from around, not Corpus, Port Lavaca, from like Port Lavaca along the coast all the way into Louisiana tomorrow for severe weather. So we're going to stay on top of it. Make sure you go to our website, and our website's going to have the update. In fact, after the show here tonight, we're going to update the weather forecast again. Okay. Also, the National Weather Service and stuff like that. And I also want to let people know a lot of folks want to know where to go for certain information. That everything you need to know about Matagorda County, the tide conditions, the weather conditions, everything going on in Palacios, Sargent, Bay City, Blessing, Markham, Midfield, everything that's going on there, you can go to that page at Gulf Coast One, GCOR1.com. Okay. Everything is on there. Starting to work once again with Kelly Pennywit with the Parks and Recreation. Yeah. And she's going to be sending me all the information, everything that's going on. It is on the website. So you go down, like you say, go on the website. If you scroll down, you'll see all the weather stuff first, and then underneath that is everything that's going on, including the Chamber of Commerce. So the link for the Chamber of Commerce is there and everything. Another thing we are working on, and Mitch can tell you this, we are working on trying to get better communication with the public as far as getting information out there when emergency happen. Not only on your phone, because we know what happened in the storm. We're going to try to make sure I have, and I'm going to work on this as well. So we're going to work on a radio signal that will cover the county that people will be able to go to and rely on during an emergency. So we are working on that.
And Jeff, important to know that it'll also be on the website. So those individuals that evacuate, we found during Harvey, we had a difficult time communicating with people that had left the community. You stayed on the radio broadcast.
Stayed on the radio and the internet, yes.
And so it was difficult for them to know where to go,
right?
And when you evacuate. So,
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's twofold, because one of the things that happened during Beryl was, we lost internal communications. We lost 911. We lost the ability to communicate with ourselves, much less communicate with the public. And so it's twofold. I know Chris and the county is working on communications internally so that the foreman, for instance, for the commissioners' foremans, the commissioners can communicate with their foreman. But what Jeff's talking about is the ability for us to communicate with the public.
That's
and
correct.
So that's a much needed avenue, both on the website you just talked about.
Right. Yeah. So the website will be able, as long as there's internet, we'll be able to, power situation here at our studio, which is down in Matagorda, we're going to continue to have because of generators and things like that.
Right.
As long as the signal and the TISD, which I use now for internet, those people are absolutely great people. They're actually getting ready to work with me on some stuff that I'm able to get a backup signal from them if there is a power outage from one of their transmitters, that a repeater that is in the county, which is near Markham. So my signal comes from Markham to here and but they're working with me and give me information on how I can go into my box here and be able to get it direct from Victoria, where they're located at. So
good.
very big help there. And then I'm going to be meeting with some folks coming soon to talk about the to be able to put out radio information. It's not going to be a station that's up all the time. It's only going to be for emergency purposes only. Eventually, we will have another station. You hear that, everybody? Jeez. Eventually, we'll have a station that we're in. But we're working on that, just because to me, it's always been about the public and making sure, and Mitch feels the same way, because that's why Mitch does what he does, because of getting the information out to folks that needs to be there, not only to comfort you, to let you know what's going on, but to give you updates on everything that's going on. So
my whole message, Jeff, is trying to let the public know what the elected and what the emergency department is doing. We're not just sitting around, twiddling our thumbs. That there's actually active, whether it's a freeze, whether it's a hurricane, whether it's a tornado. I mean, just and we've had them all. Lord have mercy, Jeff. We've had them all. I kind of laugh with the county judge. It makes sure that we don't have the locusts hit this June, because we've had every other disaster hit us, including the cyber attack that they're still recovering.
Right. Speaking of that, so let's talk a little bit about that. How's everything going with that recovery as far as the cyber attack?
So still going well, slowly but surely. The third-party vendors are coming back online. And just to remind folks what the county had to do, Once they swept all the computers and all the laptops and all the flash drives and all the hard drives, and made sure that everything was clean and green, they had to install all the new hardware, software, a lot of new hardware, because there were computers that were so old they wouldn't take the updated software. And so they've had to replace, based on age, they had to replace quite a bit of equipment, and then buy the latest and greatest. And I don't know all the word, but safety, malware, antivirus software. That's my very poor definition, and so they've gone out utilizing the state assets. The state still is here, Department of Public Safety, the Department of Information Resources. I didn't know we had a Department of Information Resources, but it's a cyber team that is designed to do just what they're doing now for Matagorda. It's weird once this has happened, Jeff. For those that don't know, January 24th, we were hit with a malware attack. We immediately isolated it to prevent encryption of the data, backups. All of the different departments had their own backups, so all of that. But you got to make sure that's safe. You got to make sure, because you don't know when, in their terms, not mine, you don't know when the bomb was planted. Right. And so a lot of times they don't want to just go back and pick a date and to update back to a certain date. They want the actual brand new equipment downloads. They had to buy a lot of licenses. That's how you work with software these days. Those of you that know it, I don't know it other than sitting in these briefings. I mean, literally, there must have been 30, 40, 50 licenses that had to use these softwares. And then going through and what I guess the word, enhancing the password protections. And so all the employees have had to are going through rigorous training on new ways for them to log on, not only in their office but also remotely. Yeah. And so it's just a mountain of work that's having to go on. Right. Ever since January 24th, they've been working almost 7 days a week. I think they did take today off because they're just exhausted. A lot of money, a lot of planning, a lot of implementation. And then the other thing I was going to tell you, it takes a lot of time for the third-party vendors. So, for instance, that when you pay your property taxes online with the county, that's a third party. So that's kind of like Venmo and Cash App and Square and all of those. So it's a third party vendor. Well, before the third party vendor would hook back up to the county system, they wanted to make sure that everything had been scanned. And so it's quite a list of things the county had to do to prove to various third-party vendors that we were safe enough to hook back up to. Right. And then the other thing that's taking so much time is you have to schedule time with these third-party vendors. They're just, it's not like a call center, right, where there's somebody sitting there. Right. They're doing this all over the country, literally. And so you have to schedule the time that our techs and their techs can tech together. Right. So it's just and the good news is when this brand new shiny product is online and everybody's trained up and utilizing it, can be the safest that is possible. So they're buying state of the art. They're buying just what DPS that the cyber techs recommend. And so brand new, shiny, a lot of new equipment. So that's the story there. But in fact, I've got to get a new press release out in the morning. I'm gonna work on that first thing in the morning. telling you just what I just told you, that it's coming together. I'm very, very impressed with all the, particularly the staff, the elected officials. They've really been working good together. There for a while, I haven't attended in a couple of days, but we have 8:30 briefing every morning that they different departments working together can identify this is the top priority today. This is next. Boy, if you could get this done, that would be great. And then it gets down to as soon as you have time, I need you to work on this. So it's really a one team coming together. But that's where we are.
All right, good. And you said you have a press release tomorrow morning.
Yeah, I'll work on that in the morning and get it out.
All right. So last week, while we had the show going on, the city council had met. Give us an update on that meeting, if you could, please.
So if you'll remember, just a little history, there was 5 entities, 5 propositions, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, whatever that is, A, B, C, D, E, presented. They had Monday afternoon at 4:00. They had this huge workshop where everybody invited everybody in to cuss and discuss and decide. Well, Tuesday night that was presented again to City Council, and they chose 3 items to put on the May 3rd ballot. So this is an open process. It's one of those get in the arena kind of deals. If you're for, against, neutral on any of them, you have a chance to vote. So I don't want to hear people say, "Well, we didn't have a chance." Yeah, you did. You had a chance at 4:00 last Monday. You had a chance Tuesday while we were doing the show. You had an opportunity to talk to every city council member, the mayor. They've invited you to talk to them. They've asked you. The mayor begs for you to get involved and listen. So they'll place the 3 items on the May 3rd ballot. The polls, there'll be 2 weeks of early voting. I say the May 3rd, the municipal and ISD election. I think the deadline was Friday at 5 p.m. And so so we may now know. I haven't, I apologize. I've been out of town. I haven't kept up with who's running and how many candidates we have for the ISD. And I did see a list. Becca Sitz has been term limited. Corey McCrae, which works for MEHOP. I don't need MEHOP anymore. Dog it. It's shoot, Jeff. I'm having a senior moment. The new entity, the MEHOP. I know it. But anyway, Corey McCrae filed in Becca Sitz. I wasn't around this weekend. I apologize. I don't know if anybody filed at the last minute. The mayor's filed Bradley, Westmoreland, Blaine Finley, the mayor, Bradley, Westmoreland, the mayor, and then Becca Sitz was term limited, so she could not. And I know that Corey McCrae filed in that spot. I don't know if any of them have. Opposition, but I should have Googled it today, and I've just been in meetings literally all day long. But May 3rd, 2 weeks before that, you'll have early voting. It'll be at the service center, I'm sure. I'm sure the ISD is going to partner or go together with the city and do the ISD portion as well. So we'll have a lot of opportunities. Now, remember, you're going to, in May 3rd, if you wait, May 3rd, election day, you're going to have to go to your polling location. But a lot of chance to talk about that. But this is your opportunity to change the city charter. I like saying the charter is kind of like the Constitution. Thou shall, they may, they may, they shall. It's kind of like our U.S. Constitution and our state constitution. Well, this is the city's constitution. It gives powers. It limits powers. It restricts powers. This is the document that empowers our city government to operate.
Right.
And so it's important that you do your homework and investigate. So I say this: if there are no contested races, they have the ability to not hold the election. But since they're placing this on the May 3rd ballot, there will be an election. Whether or not there's any competition for the mayors and city council slots, you will have an election. They place these 3 items. So that would be interesting. So we will be voting, early voting for the municipal ISD election, and then voting on May 3rd.
All right. Hey, Andy has been texting me while we're talking. I'm going to bring him on in a little bit anyway. The overpass up there in Wharton is opening tomorrow. The new overpass.
Oh, was it 1301?
Yeah, he's going to come on and talk about it. Also,
oh, good.
Yeah, he'll come on and talk about it. And then he said about the weather, so he's got another weather update for us.
All right. Well, I'm not going to go. My well is wrapped with insulation and covered. Okay. But if you tell me I don't need to
yeah, I'll bring him on in a minute.
Okay.
All right. So the other things that hang on, because you sent me an email with other stuff on it. Let's talk about that's pretty much for local, I believe.
Yeah, that county and city. Yep.
All right. So let's go down the list a little bit on you were up in Austin yourself.
Yeah, so AJ Louderback, guys, I am so proud of this young man. I will tell you, it is refreshing to have a state rep that cares and works his butt off. I think this guy doesn't know rest. He doesn't understand, because being law enforcement and being a sheriff, I don't think, and being it for 14 years, I don't think there is an opportunity for anybody to sit on your laurels. And he's taken that straight to Austin. The judge, Mike Ferdinand, Jessica Russell, and I had a Zoom meeting with he and his staff about our legislative priorities. And that was on like a Thursday or Friday. We laid it all out. I brought up TWIA. I've got some changes I want to make to not only the makeup of the board, but the counties involved, and had a little conversation with him, and kind of brought him up to how hard we've been working to limit what TWIA can do to us, primarily in fees, rate increases, and things like that. Jeff, this guy grabbed the information, went the next day or the same day, because they were meeting. Went and talked to Todd Hunter, which is chair of calendars and an opponent to TWIA. He is not happy. Senator Mays Middleton is from Galveston, and he again is a champion for us against the TWIA motives, or the TWIA way. These are two very intelligent gentlemen, both opposed to the way TWIA is working. And so we had a conversation, and the next thing I know, I've got a text. And AJ told us, he said, I want you to pack a go bag, because when I need you in Austin, and I text you, I expect you to be in Austin in 3 hours. And Jeff, he did it. He texted me, and me and Mike and Ferdinand and the judge, and said, hey, I need you in Austin on Wednesday at 10 o'clock. And 12:30. Austin at 12:30, you're going to meet with Todd Hunter, and you're going to meet with Senator Middleton. And remember, we had the big ribbon cutting with WCJC the same day.
Yeah.
And so we conquered, and we split up, and Jessica Russell and the judge went to the ribbon cutting for the trades at WCJC, and Ferdinand and I took off for Austin. I had a great meeting, wonderful staff included, and we discussed a lot of things. I thought best case scenario, we get an interim study. Interim study is between the two sessions, the 25 session and the 27 session. 2026, us study our proposed changes. These guys are ready to file legislation this year. And so the idea is, we feel like that, and remember, we if you remember, if not, go back and see the podcast where I argue with Knox, with Knox. He's an insurance agent, and he had all the reasons why he had all the he had all the reasons why TWIA ought to even be billing us more. And I'm so sick of that. I really am. I'm just sick of hearing that. I think they're reinsured. I think they overbuy reinsurance. I think they're wasting our money. Yeah. But I also don't like the way the board is made up. I think it's too heavily weighed with insurance people. Right. And there's no representation from large industry. There's no representation from school districts. I don't think there's enough representation from residents. I got you for you one, Jeff. So TWIA is 13 and a half counties along the Gulf Coast. And that's the only ones getting billed for Texas windstorm insurance. Do you know that they have a board member from the interior part of the state? Why? So the interior part of the state has a representative on the board, but they're not represented. They don't have TWIA insurance. They don't pay a premium. Why do they have a say in what we're doing?
That's like me. That's like me saying I'm going to represent the doctors in Arkansas.
I know,
and I live in Texas, and I ain't a doctor.
I don't get it. So anyway, we have got 3 partners. AJ is willing to file a bill. Todd Hunter, he chairs calendars. You don't get much more powerful. Appropriation, of course, the speaker, and then next, as I would say, calendars. And then next, I would say the chair of appropriations. That's probably one of the 3 most powerful committees. So I feel really good. It was worth a day, taking a day, driving to Austin, meeting with those individuals. We did get an opportunity, met AJ Louderback's staff there in the Capitol, went by and visited with our former state senator, Lois Kokor, certainly went into Joan Huffman's office. We hit Cody Fasut's office and just to visit, just to let them know that we're there. We kind of ran out of time to get back. Mike had another thing Wednesday night. Right. And so we haven't forgotten TWIA. If you'll remember, the board voted to increase our rates by 10%. Yeah. Todd Hunter, Mays Middleton went to the insurance commissioner and convinced the insurance commissioner to say no to that 10% increase. I'll tell you another funny now that Andy's on. So my part about building the TWIA territory is what they did, and they did this back in the 90s, and I don't think we had the data that we have today. And you drew a line on a map arbitrarily, and you said, if you live south of 35, there's one price. If you live north of 35, there's a lower price. Right. And then if you live in Wharton, Texas, right, you don't even have to pay windstorm insurance. Andy doesn't have TWIA insurance, doesn't have to have it. Right. But during Harvey, they had more damage than we did.
Yes.
Beryl, and y'all know this better than I do, Hurricane Beryl, it was a hurricane all the way up through Lufkin.
That's right.
So why aren't the interior counties a part of the billing process?
Yeah.
And I don't mean at full price. Certainly, I live along the Gulf Coast. I live south of 35. Actually, I live on 35, but I live south of 35.
Yeah.
I should pay the most.
Right.
But and Andy, I hate to throw you under the bus, but Andy's going to get windstorm damage at some point. He should be paying windstorm insurance, not as much as me now. I'm closer to the coast, full disclosure, that he should be paying. Colorado County ought to be paying a little bit. Austin County ought to be paying a little bit. Little less, until you get into the interior of Texas. And I don't know where that number is. I don't know where that line is. And then past that, you don't have to have insurance. So,
Andy?
Mitch, I have a hard time just getting insurance. I had Allstate insurance for a long time, and I got a notice, I guess this was 10 years ago now, that said, you've got a wood frame house, we don't cover you anymore.
Oh my God.
But we still want you to we still want to keep your cars.
Oh.
But we still want to do the house. And it's been hard to find insurance because very few people will write it on an old wood frame house. And this house was built in 1937. It went through Carla. It's been through all these things. I'm just like, folks, what are you doing? But it's hard enough to get the insurance anyway. But everybody's insurance is nuts. I cannot imagine what yours must be down there.
It's horrible.
By the way, just to let you know, it's Plaid Day in Wharton County.
Yes, it is.
That's why. Yeah. So
yes, it is.
Mr. Plaid,
and it's going to be tomorrow too, because when that front comes through, all of my clothes are going to probably blow down to Bay City, and you can just go out and pick it up.
Yeah. And by the way, just to let you know, in the background there where Andy is, he's actually. Where are you at? In Canada right now or somewhere? What is it?
That is up at Mo Ranch outside of Kerrville.
Oh, man.
There you go. Mo Ranch. Look at that picture.
I wish I was there.
Huh? Yeah. Well, yeah. I wish I was there too.
Oh, it's gorgeous up there.
Yeah.
But I don't know. And Mitch, I heard you talking about on the Speaker of the House and all that. I know we're coming up to Wharton County Day at the Capitol. 25th, I think. And I did see where our bus is full, and that's great that everybody takes advantage and goes up there.
Yeah.
Really look forward to it. And, that's always a lot of fun, and we'll get to do that. But I'm really glad that Kitzman is still here in spite of the fact that he made the governor mad, and they went out and recruited people to go against the folks on the school funding thing.
Vouchers, yeah.
Oh, man. And that made me mad to look at the what I consider underhanded politics. That looked like more of the stuff from the 60s than what I would like to see now.
Pretty dirty, wasn't it?
Well, it used to be that when a vote would come up in the House or the Senate, you wouldn't see 100% of the Democrats and 100% of the Republicans voting either way.
Right.
It would be they were voting on an issue, not voting the way that somebody said, we're going to strong hand you to where you're going to have to vote this, or you'll never get another committee assignment in your life.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is.
Or will primary.
And I just hate that. I got to work up at the House in 1977 during the summer session. Billy Clayton was the speaker.
Yeah.
Tommy Ewer got me the job. I was in the Sergeant at Arms, and it was fascinating. Yeah. But there was people cooperated then at a level that we haven't seen in years, and it's just a shame that it's gotten to that.
I always say it's right now. It seems to me, and you're right, Andy. It seems like it's party over public.
Yes.
It seems like it's party over public.
Don't think.
Not so
just do what we tell you to do.
Yeah, exactly. It's more for
exactly.
The party is going to, the Republican Party, the Democratic Party. It's either got to be all the way this way or all the way that way. There's no middle anymore.
And to complicate things, Jeff, now the Republicans might have 3 different versions of what they're supporting. So you've got them fighting within the Republican Party. It's like Governor Abbott.
Texas doesn't have a monopoly on this. I mean, it's the same mess that's going on at the federal level.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's just a shame that you don't have people take on issues. They kind of just have to go and got a finger stuck up their nose, and they're going to follow wherever they're led.
Pete Laney used to tell every freshman that came in, he said, I don't care if you vote with me, against me. He said, but here's what I want you. I expect you to represent your district. If what we're proposing is bad for your district, I expect you to oppose it. And I expect
that would be a novel concept.
Wouldn't it? I know.
Yeah. I mean, that was great. I don't know. You just don't see that anymore, and that's a shame.
No, it's either one way or not.
Right.
It's out there. I'll tell you. And it's the primary, Andy, you know as well as I do. It's who votes in the primaries.
Right.
You got 20% of the population votes in a Republican, 20% on the Democrat, and that's the fringe group. And so you start. So to get elected, you've got to be the most fringe-ist. You got to be the craziest sometimes.
That's true.
I mean, I was told I wasn't Republican enough, and I'll be honest, I can say it now. I didn't say it then, but you crazy son of a guns. I said, if what you're proposing is being Republican, you're right. I'm not Republican enough. And,
it was what you were talking about with on the thing with the gun deal, man. If you even hinted that you were going to take away a gun from, I don't care if they're loony as can be, the NRA is going to come down on you like a ton of bricks.
Right. Yeah.
And that's just the way that it is.
Yeah.
Common sense is kind of gone.
Yeah. Open carry is, of course, you know, we have open carry. I haven't heard of any real problems. I do think we need the red flag law. I think, that's where if you're determined to be suffering from a mental condition, there's a district judge can hold a hearing, and take any weapon out of the house temporarily. It's not permanent, but yeah.
One of the things that's not being held accountable for is, okay, so you take that all the way. There's so many illegal guns out there or non-registered weapons that are being sold house to house or wherever, you know, they can be scratched off. You know, we're not holding accountable the people that are selling those guns to those kind of people as much as we should either. Really, not.
We don't want to mess with the criminals. We just want to put private citizens, law-abiding private citizens, under the law.
Under law, yeah, that's it. yeah, because it seems like the criminal has more leadway in justice than the actual people that.
Well, they'll shoot back. You know, the criminals will.
They will. They'll shoot back. Yeah, that's right. You're right.
Everybody else is okay. Yeah, come here and get the gun, and that's, you know, and when they start to do that, that is going to be putting law enforcement in such a horrible position that you won't see that happen either.
So, well, you were saying that on your text, and that's what wanted to bring me on. I mean, as a former cop, I didn't have to deal with a whole. And you think this, you don't think you have to deal with a whole lot of mental issues. But if somebody's committing a crime with a weapon, or committing a crime with any kind of weapon, or seems to be unstable, it's hard to train for that. I mean, it really is, because there's so many different mental unstable people that you deal with in crime. It's hard to train for, okay, well, if this situation happens, this is what you got to do. If this situation happens, this is what you got to do. Well,
unfortunately, that's what happens, is that law enforcement is the first line of defense against the people that are unstable.
Right.
And they're the ones that have to go out first.
Well, and Skipper's worked.
I'm sorry.
Skipper has worked for years in trying to communicate the fact that his jail was full of individuals with mental health issues, and and that they didn't need three hots and a cot. They needed help.
That's right.
Right.
And so, yeah, he was very good about communicating that. Now, it didn't do any good.
Right.
I mean, I haven't seen mental health come up at there'll be some bills filed. Don't get me wrong, but
yeah,
I haven't seen mental health championed by one of our big elected officials, either the speaker.
That's too touchy of a subject.
Yeah,
I mean, nobody really wants to touch that. But I know you look at who the law enforcement people are bringing in, and you can have somebody that is just as crazy as they can be. So they send them to Ash. Ash will have them for 3 days, drug them up, and send them back.
Sure,
and that's just what happens. And there's not any.
And guess who pays?
Ash stays full.
And guess who pays for the transportation there and back?
Absolutely. County level. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You're right.
Yeah, we do.
All part of the game. I was at a meeting, and one of the officers, I won't say his name, but one of the officers says, "Okay, I'm taking 2 up and bringing 1 back."
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy, is what it is. So
yeah,
it is.
It is. It really
and the fact that Austin is Austin the closest or the only mental health?
That's the only one that I'm aware of. It. I know that's where we were having to send our people was to Ash. Well, it used to be you had more than one asylum that people were going to, and it wasn't like it was a revolving door. Right. Some people would go there and they would stay.
Oh, okay.
You don't ever see that happen anymore.
No.
Yeah.
And look, I mean, through my 20 years here, we've had some frequent flyers that they weren't violent. And as long as they were on their meds, they were great, brilliant even.
Yes.
One young man, I won't say names. I asked him, I said, "Why are you living under the bridge off 35?" And he said, "Well, I'll tell you." He said, "I have to stay there because that's where I keep my submarine." I had to laugh.
Yeah, he had all his oars in the water there.
So, and he worked for the CIA.
Oh, wow. Well, good.
And so he had to spend the night under the bridge.
By the way, I just looked it up, Mitch. The CIA does keep submarines under bridges.
Okay, there you go.
Only in Matagorda County.
In Matagorda County, that's it. Just Matagorda County.
So and they do great, but I just feel like we need something closer. We need something more.
Yes, we need more. That's what we need.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And it's a national problem, and I don't know, how they get started on that.
You find the champion. I mean, there's 23 billion extra dollars according to Comptroller Hager. It's 23 billion. They're having a hard time. They're arguing about how to spend 23 billion more dollars.
Yeah. Well,
when I talk to Glenn here in a couple of weeks, when we go up there, because we are meeting with him, and that's great. I always love to talk to him. I loved him when he was our senator. But
he was your state rep too.
I'll take a couple of suitcases and see if I can bring a couple of bucket full of dollar bills back to Wharton and Matagorda County.
He's accounted for them. Yeah. That is for sure. Yeah, he is a great guy. Our day is March 18th, Andy, and we've got 2 meetings. I'm gonna meet with him, and then there's a contingent. I'm not sure who's going with me yet, but there's also a contingent that's meeting with the economic development folks in the governor's office at the same time. So again, we're gonna have to divide and conquer.
Yeah. We're meeting with somebody in the ag department. We're meeting with Glenn, and then we also will be meeting, with Senator Huffman and with Kitzman on the quick fly-throughs.
Yeah, and y'all don't have a reception, do you?
What? No, we're going and we're going to Schultz's for lunch.
Oh, okay.
And that's the beer bar. So
you're not going to get a Miller Lite.
That's almost a reception.
Yeah, no.
Miller.
Yeah,
you're right. That was my next question. He's not going to get a Miller Lite.
A German beer.
Yeah, right. That used to be one of my jobs as a sergeant at arms.
Okay.
When they had the roll call votes.
Yeah.
I would run over to Schultz's and ring the bell, so everybody would go, damn, it's a roll call, and then I'll have to run back to the house to vote.
Well, that's funny.
It'll probably be Meisterbrow. Meisterbrow.
Yeah, isn't that the oldest? Now that's a old building too.
That is the oldest
Segarunde. It's right next to Segarunde
beer
Hall.
garden. It's the oldest beer garden in Texas.
Yeah.
And it's it's like 3 blocks away from the house.
Yeah.
So used to be a bowling alley, actually.
I've been there in Segarunde Hall. I've rented that before.
It's always a lot of fun. I know that. So
hey, before we go too much farther, Andy, I want to get you on with the update for the weather.
Yeah, I need to wrap my pipes?
Maybe. And it's still a maybe. Earlier in the week, they were saying it was going to be in the low 20s.
Right.
And then they backed off and they said, well, now 28. Now they're starting to inch down just a little bit. So I don't think we're going to have a hard freeze, but I think we'll probably wind up between 26 and 29.
So I've got to get the plants in, is what you're telling me.
Yes, you're going to need to get the plants in. Duration wise, I think we're looking at like a 7 to 9 hour freeze. That's a lot better than what we had last time.
Oh yeah.
So now that means I got to bring Lydia in from outside.
Yes.
Okay,
well, you're going to want to, because that's what you need is something hot to warm up the house.
There you go.
So get her mad.
Cold blooded as they come.
Well, yeah, get her mad and she'll be she'll be Actually, this weather's going to be a 2-part thing. We've got tomorrow when the front comes through.
And that's the storms.
That's the storms, the chance of severe weather. And along the coast, y'all are in a position to where you could have some things with rotation. So keep an eye out.
Okay.
There'd be quick hitters and, keep an eye on that.
Okay.
That should.
And about what time, Andy? About what time do we?
Well, 8 to 10 o'clock.
Okay.
Tomorrow night.
Okay.
So Tuesday afternoon, 7 o'clock, you're looking at 67 degrees. By Wednesday morning, you're looking at 40.
Okay.
And by Thursday morning, you're looking at 25 to 27.
Okay.
And you're going to have, I know here, we're expecting 35, 40 mile an hour winds. Closer to the coast, you might have even higher.
Wow.
So keep an eye out for that. It's going to stick with us we're finally going to hit 50 and 60 degrees again by Saturday and Sunday.
All right.
So so Wednesday, Thursday, and then what does Friday look like? Warming.
Friday is going to start off cold, but moderate to like 55 degrees, something like that.
No more rain.
No, not after that. It doesn't look like it. They're looking. I'm supposed to go back to Austin again, which we were talking about, and sure enough, I'm going to Georgetown, and they're supposed to get freezing rain on Saturday morning when I'm supposed to be trying to get there, and I ain't going up there in those hills in freezing rain. I've done that before.
That was my next question, Andy. So, any frozen participation in our areas?
Not in our area. No,
okay.
It'll all this will be out by the time we hit freezing.
Okay. Okay. Good.
Okay. So you're going to take your sled up north.
Listen, I got to quit going. All these are funerals that I'm going to. And
Lord. Okay.
I'm getting tired of that, but I don't want to be the next one because I'm trying to drive on ice.
Yeah.
No. Let's get that plaid hat.
Well, especially
I bought that thing in Edinburgh a couple of years ago. I love it.
Yeah, no, it's not. I like it.
One thing it does is it keeps my balding head warm and when it's cold outside.
Yeah. So if Andy's head is wet, it's raining. If it's white, it's
that's right.
Okay. If it's freezing, it's
inside.
It's inside. There you go. That's right. There you go. It's like the weather rock.
There you go. That's it.
That's good.
That's it. So, but
right.
No, looks good. Everybody's wondering, well, gosh, this has been bad. Why are we so hot? So it's winter. It's still winter time here, folks. That hasn't gone away.
Yeah. And a lot of the systems now.
And how many people are starting to plant plants because it's been nice and warm? That's the funny thing.
It amazes me.
Me too.
And first of all, they're asking me, and I can't grow a thing. I mean, my wife can go out and spit a toothpick in the ground, and the oak tree will grow.
Yeah,
but I can kill anything. I can kill plastic plants. But they're asking me, and it's just like, folks, if you plant something in there before March, you're planting in the winter.
My mother-in-law always, it was out of the Farmer's Almanac. She said, don't do anything till after Easter.
Yep. There you go. You go.
Yeah, it's and I can't tell you how many spring breaks when the kids were off. I can't tell you how many times it's been freezing during spring break.
Well, and it's going to be horrible weather, cold and everything, because they're fixing to do the barbecue cook-off at the livestock show in Houston. And they get crappy weather every year when that happens. That's a guarantee.
Yep. That's true.
Yeah, that is coming up, isn't it?
Yeah.
Coming up pretty quick.
I think our county fair cook-off is this weekend, the 21st, 22nd.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I might have to wander down there if I don't go to Georgetown.
Yeah.
No,
I think it's gonna be a good time. I think our fair starts kicking off, at the end of February, beginning of March.
Yeah.
And
that's right.
I know y'all got some great cookers down there. I went down there with my nephew one time, and I took him over there. We were down there at the fairgrounds, and he came over and he said, Uncle Andy, you need to let these guys teach you how to cook ribs.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
Yeah, bad.
It is the truth. Those ribs are that much better than mine. That's darn sure. Jeez.
Well, Andy, thank you, sir. We're going to wrap.
I'll back out, but I'm still going to be listening to y'all. It's Great show today. Great show. And you must have got caught at those lights over there on Highway 60 and Alabama Road when you first get into town.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about the new intersection.
Our overpass that's coming in. We're opening up the overpass on 1301.
Okay.
That's Bowling Highway and Business 59 over there by CVS.
Yeah.
They built an overpass over that. And we've been wanting to do this for about 20 years.
I remember.
Because the hospital, the emergency room is on the other side of town than the majority of town. And if you had an old, long, slow train, ambulance couldn't get there. Now they'll have that way to get there.
Now, is there going to be exchanges up to 59 or 69? Is that planned?
They're working on that right now. Okay. Right now, I think all that they're going to be able to do is get in. I think they're going to bring the access road that much further to where you will go and you will have to turn right, or they might make the access road two ways until they get there. I don't know, but that will eventually get to where it's going to just get to the access road and you turn, because there will be another overpass about 1.5 miles north of there. And that would be your crossover.
Well, and hopefully you can do a flyover where you just do 1301 and either go north or south on
that would be nice. Yeah.
So all it takes is money.
There you go. Oh yeah. Well, and a lot of time. I mean, they were fighting about this dang thing forever.
And Andy, y'all are doing a lot of flood prevention programs in Wharton County right now. I went to a meeting at the Civic Center not too long ago.
Mitch, that stuff started up after the flood in 98.
98, not just Harvey.
Yeah. And so they got this plan and they had everything ready to go, but there wasn't any funding.
Right.
So when all that money came out after Harvey, and we had a turnkey plan,
right?
They jumped on that and they said, "Okay, that's what we'll do." Now, that was in 3 sections. I don't think we have money for section 2 and 3 now. I know we're going to. I think they'll get 1 completed,
Okay.
But that's been, I worked with the county and not with the city. And that's been our question for the city the whole time, what you were talking about.
Right.
You're going to change it. This water's not going to be going into the city. Where's it going to go?
I know.
And we were concerned about some of the places out in the county, and they were like, oh, it's only going to go up an inch or two. No, it's not. It's going to go up more than that. I mean, I'm sorry, but you're talking about a whole bunch of water. So we'll see how much more water we're going to send down there to you.
Well, we're awake. You have woken the sleeping giant, because we're actually spending money now on flood mitigation studies, not plans, but we're just trying to figure out what does the changes upstream do to us, and working with
that's what you've got to do. I know that we started working with I think Judge Westmoreland back on some of the studies down in the southern part of the county.
Yep.
And what we were going to be doing with Caney Creek and what we were going to be doing with some of those things, because all that is going to come down to y'all, or it's going to go to Brazoria County.
Yeah.
And we got to get it cleaned up from the bottom first.
Right. And people don't realize you're talking about Hardeman Slough. You're talking about, you're talking about Caney Creek. You're talking about Hardeman Slough. You're talking about others that affect more of the Van Vleck, Cedar Lane, Lake.
That's that East Nard and all that area down there.
Yeah. And Peach Creek during Harvey, Peach Creek joined the Colorado River and the San Bernard. We never could figure out.
Matter of fact, that's where all that water came from. But they have the Weather Service, and it was an infrared picture, but they have a picture of the water coming out of the Colorado into Bowman Slough and Peach Creek.
Yeah.
And that actually, the reason that interested them so much, that changed watersheds. And that jumped from the Colorado River watershed to the San Bernard watershed.
Right.
And that hasn't happened since, I think, 1935 was the last time. So, and I'm old, but I wasn't here then.
Right. Oh, yeah, there's a lot going on. I will tell you, just because of what you're doing there and what the city of Wharton is doing, it has, for the very first time that I can remember, we've actually filed with the Texas Water Development Board our drainage improvement plans. We have 7 projects on the books, and we presented that to add into the state plan so that you can try and so that you can fight for funding. Until you get in the plan, you're nothing. You're not fighting for dollars, because there's nothing to fight for. Y'all were smart back in the 80s, 90s of getting in the plan. And then, of course, I always tell people, when your Buc-ee's and your Walmart floods, you're going to get major dollars coming your way.
That's it.
When you flood a Buc-ee's, the world comes to it. The only other thing that could have been better if your HEB had flooded. And then
it didn't matter. We couldn't. We were cut off, so our HEB was closed anyway. They couldn't get food.
Yeah, exactly. That's right.
Yeah.
So a lot of people don't realize just how bad y'all had it in Harvey.
Yeah.
Hell, y'all had high water rescue.
Oh yeah. As a matter of fact, we had a bunch of the firefighters that y'all were working with this week from Midfield and back down Markham, all that area. They came up and saved a lot of lives.
There you go.
Coming around on the area where you were talking about, on that Peach Creek area north of town. And, we didn't call. They came up, they saw a need, and they came and did that. And I still try to get over there and support them because they did. They saved a bunch of lives. They're great guys and gals.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, all right, I'll let you go. Mitch, next time you're in town, come early. We'll have some coffee.
I'll do it.
Or come late, we'll have a beer.
I like it even better.
Just him, not me? You invited him, but not me. Okay, Andy. All right, brother. I see how it is. No,
Well,
okay.
that's because I've drank with you before.
Yeah, well, that's true. That's true. Yeah, we got to get Mitch. Mitch. That's what we got to do. Yeah, we'll get Mitch up there. We'll show him what they do.
There you go. That sounds
All
good.
right.
Thank you, gentlemen. Y'all take care.
Right. We'll see you later, brother. All right, bye-bye. Here you go, Andy Kirkland. Know him, love him, can't live without him. There he goes, Andy Kirkland. So, so we're gonna keep an eye on that weather forecast. It's gonna change back and forth a little bit anyway. Hey, now real quick before we go, and I know we went long, we're getting close to long right now. Lieutenant Governor Patrick's priority bills. I know you had a whole list of them here.
Yeah.
That's
just you can tell they're serious when they already have assigned the bill a number. And I'll tell you, just traditionally, the lower the number, the more priority. So Senate Bill 1, generally House Bill 1 and Senate Bill 1 is the budget. Constitutionally, the only bill that that they have to pass is a budget bill.
Okay.
They have to. And so generally it is in the top. I will tell you, when we'll spend a little bit more time on the proposals for property tax relief.
Yeah.
I like it, don't get me wrong, but I've got some problems with it. They're talking about increasing the homestead exemption. Remember, our homestead exemption was like $40,000 forever. Last session, we upped it to 100. They're proposing 140 for the as an exemption. So if your home is worth 200,000 and you take 140 off, you're paying taxes on 60.
Okay.
And that's a way to do it. But until these people, the thing I'll close with, Jeff, is until they start worrying about what the appraisal districts are doing to us, giving us all the property tax cuts is mute. If you give me a property tax cut, and then you raise the price of my properties, I'm paying more. Now, I will tell you, I did see school districts. My school district tax bill was down considerably. Right now, the number one taxing entity in Matagorda County for me is the city. And so, but property tax relief is great. I just think in one day you've got to attach some time and effort to looking at our appraisal process. But I was just going to give the folks an idea to keep up. So you want to know how? And they say school choice. I say school vouchers. You want to know how serious that is in the Senate? House Bill 2, House Bill 3, and this gets me. Excuse me, Jeff. The libertarian that's coming out in me.
Yeah.
So he named Senate Bill 3 to do away with THC, which, if I understand right, and I'm not an expert, I read a little. It's what makes you high with marijuana. He wants to ban that. 4 is the tax increase, the homestead exemption. Senate Bill 5 is combating Alzheimer's. I didn't. So combating Alzheimer's, and it's serious, Jeff, is more important than Texas electric grid reliability and increasing investments in water supply. That's Senate Bill 7.
Yeah.
Requiring local law enforcement assist the federal government in deportation efforts is Senate Bill 8. There's 25 priorities that the lieutenant governor has put on the books. The House has a similar, the House has said they're going to pass school vouchers. I went off a little bit on what the Senate bill looks like. I will close with this, Jeff. They have got to do something to school funding and teacher raises.
Yes.
But you haven't heard you haven't heard anything about that. So that's taken a back seat.
Yep.
Now it's all school. You got to have a choice. Well, rich people already have a choice. I told you I have a choice. When I moved my kids to Fort Bend County, what school do you want to go to? I had a choice where to buy a house.
Right.
You're going to leave those that can't afford a private school are going to be at your ISDs. Those that can afford a private school are going to go. But yet nothing. So I'm going to close with this, I promise. $6,600 is what the school district gets per kid per year in ISDs. The proposed school voucher says they're going to give you $10,000 to go to a private school. Explain to me, Jeff, where if I take my kid out and I go to a private school, I get $10,000. But if my kid stays at the ISD, I don't get but $6,600.
I think it's a slap in the face to the good ISDs that are out there that have great teachers, working hard, good principals, not only teaching good principals, but having good superintendents, good principals. I think it's a slap in the face. I really do. We're going to give you $10,000, move your kid. What about schools like we got Bay City, Tidehaven, Van Vleck, all these great schools that are here? It's just like a slap in the face to them, saying, okay, well, we're going to give you 10 grand to get out of there, and we're going to send you to a private school. And what are there that many private schools that can handle all these kids?
No, there's not.
But
there will follow the money. There will be.
Right. No,
I mean,
of course.
But they're going to pick and choose. They're going to pick and choose what kids to take.
Right. There's more to it than just this bill. There's something that's around the other side that we don't see yet, but we will. And mark my words, just like you said, there's more to it than this. And these private schools are going to start popping up all over the place. Okay. The other thing I just want to hit on one or two things here real quick. The banning THC in Texas, that just needs to be thrown out of the door. Done. All these other states and all that are approving marijuana use and this and that. And Texas now not going to, THC is not the stuff that actually makes you high. THC is the stuff that people are taking for, and it does work, by the way, for pain, they actually use it on pets for seizures. It's great for seizures. My dog, my boxer, had seizures. The guy said, try THC. Give the dog THC, dog's out of the seizure, it doesn't get them for 2 years.
Oh, wow.
Just by 2 drops on the tongue with THC.
Well,
so that's not
full disclosure, Jeff. They are excluding marijuana, medical marijuana. So the medicinal side, they're not. I think it's what is being sold, and again, I'm just regurgitating what I read. It's what is in these vape shops. Yes. Which I don't. Is there a Delta 8 or something, gummy bear or something? I don't know. That's really
they
what
got gummy bears with THC, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a gummy bear. It could be a brownie. It could be a cookie. It could
whatever.
be anything. Anything. Yeah. But they keep on hitting on these damn gummy bears only because little kids eat gummy bears and they're afraid to get mixed up and all that. But do I think it should be number 3? No,
I don't either.
The arrangement
on some of water and a head of electricity.
Yeah, no. The reason I think they're doing this is because, that's an easy one. That's an easy one. That's an easy one. Well, I don't know. The budget, of course, is always going to be number 1.
Yeah.
But the providing school choice, we knew that was going to be the top because that's a big thing for the governor.
I know.
But going from 3 and then increasing the homestead and then combating the Alzheimer's dementia. Let the doctors deal with that.
Either. I support that. I don't know where that came from.
No, I support it. But what do we have research centers here that need funding? I mean, or is that a huge thing going on? I don't know. That part I don't know.
Either.
Again, the Texas grid and the water supply, yes. Requiring law enforcement to assist the federal government's deportation efforts.
Well, see, and that's aimed at Austin. That's aimed at Dallas. That's aimed at Houston.
Yeah.
Certainly not aimed at Bay City, Texas, or Matagorda County.
Right.
But you see, he's placed it in such a high priority, and they can chew gum and walk at the same time. Don't get me wrong. I mean, there'll be 8,000 bills filed.
A pat in the back for placing the 10 Commandments back in school, protecting the freedom to pray in school. You shouldn't have to protect that freedom because it's already a law. It's already
it goes to show where the lieutenant governor's in his development in his character.
Yeah, hitting the soft spots. Yeah, hitting the soft spots. Stop non-citizens from voting, removing barriers to affordable housing. It's like it's all over the place.
Well, and it's also straight from the Republican Party platform. You have all of these delegates. You have all of these delegates that are elected to go to a state Senate or a Republican, a statewide Republican caucus,
right?
And that's where they vote on a lot of the stuff, and that's where the more serious, I guess is the word I'm going to use, Republicans go in with their ideas, and this is pretty much straight out of that. Now, if I want to get elected statewide and I want to win the Republican primary, guess who I make happy?
Yeah. No, you're right.
The people that vote, and the people that vote in primaries want this.
Right. Okay. So Andy just said they want to increase the medical response to Alzheimer's by developing a medical center.
And that's great, but before water and power?
Yeah, no.
I mean, I get it. I want it on the list.
Yeah, no, I agree. I just think the list is put together prioritized.
Now, and I'll be honest, they're all fast tracking the same way. They'll all be heard in various committees. There is not you don't have to pass one before you go to two and pass two. You might pass Senate Bill. You may pass Senate Bill 100 first. And now they've already passed Senate Bill 2. Senate. They already passed the school choice.
Right.
So that's already passed in the Senate, not the House.
Right. What Andy said, water should be number one.
It's we don't live without. I think one does have to be the budget, according to the state constitution.
Right. Yeah. At least.
I mean, you have to pay. You don't have to pass water, but you have to pass a balanced budget because of our state constitution. So I'm okay with that. But I think water and I think power, Jeff. We've had this conversation a million years.
Yeah.
A million times is we're running out of power. 1,600. The latest demographics are 1,600 people are moving to Texas a day.
That's a lot.
That's up from it was 1,000, then 11, then 15, and now it's 1,600.
Yeah. Well, then I think somebody's looking at things wrong,
and they like flipping that switch and power coming on.
Oh,
just like Andy's talking about, and turning that faucet and water coming out.
Is there any other and I know we got to go. Is there any other state that sends out notices to people like we're using too much power, we might have to shut you down and rolling blackouts besides California?
I don't know. That's a great question. Isn't it funny that the two that does that are the two deregulated entities?
Yes.
Alabama is all regulated. Georgia is all regulated. Florida is all regulated. California deregulated before Texas, and we followed it right into deregulation.
Yeah. These computer hotspots.
I think you're seeing. Now, I've said it before. I'll say it again. We have enjoyed lower power prices for years because of it, but now we're paying.
Yes.
It's kind of like us in Bay City saving so many tax dollars because we did not do any maintenance on water sewer lines, and now it's caught up with us. Yeah. I think that's where it's going to happen in the electric. And they say electric grid. I don't want people to think that the wires are bad.
No.
or the distribution is bad. I want people to understand when they say grid reliability, they're really talking about an adequate amount of power being generated and being consumed.
Correct.
But people think that, oh man, you need to replace the lines, grid reliability. Now, that's not the reliability that they're talking about. It's having enough power produced to be consumed.
Right, to supply
the demand. Hey, let's keep our list. We'll talk about it next week.
Yeah, I want to get on. There's a couple of those things I really need to get on to. All right, everybody.
I will reach out to the individual that I'll get an answer by about a new guest that might join us.
Okay, good. I want to thank our special guest, and I mean special guest, Andy Kirkland, for joining us this evening.
And do we have a sponsor, Jeff?
Oh, we always have sponsors now.
I love it.
Who's going to sponsor? Preparation H. No, that's a different one. I'm sorry, that's something else. That's when we talk about the government. We use Preparation H.
Yes.
The Medical Arts Clinic. I want to thank the folks at the Medical Arts for keeping us going and going. We have a few more we're working on this week. If you'd like to be a part of what we do, we sure like to have you. Just get a hold of Jeff Michaels on my Facebook page or email me at jeffmichaels65@gmail.com. Also, you can always send us your questions at InsideTexas24@gmail.com. InsideTexas24@gmail.com. Let us know what's going on there. I get a lot of crap mail on that one for some reason. I don't know. But once or twice, we get a question or whatever, or an answer. We get an answer right away. Good. But anyway, on behalf of myself, Jeff Michaels, and the lovely and talented Mitch Thames, and Carolyn Thames, who's going to probably stab me for going over 20 minutes long. We'll see you all next week right here on Inside Texas.
Thanks, guys.